Hello, everybody. Thank you once again for coming onto our media platform. Today, I want to continue with the, the concept of being in community and doing life together with others. So today, I want to share what it takes uh, to build a missional community and the effects that it has whenever we decide to live out that experience. See, one of the concepts in building a missional community is to understand that we need people in our lives. That is correct. We need people in our lives. See, the stories of the Bible illustrate this idea about having people around us. For example, whenever you read the creation narratives, uh, it affirms the importance of doing life with others. For example, when Adam was alone in the Garden of Eden, the creation narrative records the voice of God saying that it wasn't good for man to be alone, thus illustrating the importance of being in community or being in living out togetherness with others. Now, I know that the concept of people being in our lives can be challenging for many reasons. It can be that our personality has been formed in ways that we tend to avoid being around people, or it can be that the past experience that we have encountered have formed us uh, and has formed us in a way that we are very protective as to who we let into our lives. See, there can be many reasons why we avoid proximity with people. However, living out the imperative concept of doing life with people and allowing people to be in our lives is a necessary element for a flourishing life. Hear me on this. It is imperative that we allow people to do life with us in order to live out a flourishing life. You see, when we desire to live out a flourishing life in all of life, being in community with other like minded people is the best way that I see the gospel transforming us. See, the concept of having people in our lives is God's way of healing all of our brokenness and also moving us forward with intentionality in all that we do. My dear friends, proximity with others will affect us in positive ways. And unless there is togetherness, it will be difficult dealing with all of our pain, with all of our suffering, um, with everything that we endeavor to do. Let me see if I can share this example with you and try to make it a little bit more, try to make my point a little bit more real. Well, see, when I was a young man, we used to live in a nice but old house. One day, we had considered to paint the house because it was already old paint. But as I started to prep the exterior walls for a new coat of paint, I got close enough that I began to scrape and the brittled and dried up paint. And when I did that, I noticed that there were several deeper layers of the same brittle, dis old colors. Now, I'm not a professional painter, guys, but I did notice that every time the previous owner wanted to make the house look nice, all he did uh, was put a new coat of paint over the old, thus allowing or beginning to create hidden layers of unwanted colors on the house. I guess what I'm trying to say uh, is that I would have never discovered the many hidden layers of old paint on the house if I did not get close enough to notice. And thus, in similar ways, when we do not allow people to draw close to us and speak into our lives, all we're doing is hiding our hurts, our pains, and anything we do not want anybody to know. You see, proximity is a key element to unearth all that is weighing in us and thus making us whole in every area of our day to day life. In a missional community, we allow for the Holy Spirit to use everyone to speak into our lives. You see, the closer we are to people, the more they will notice our good and our bad. And let me share this with you. It is a good thing for people to see the good and to see the bad. Because that means that we're being transparent. We're not hiding. We're being exposed. We're being vulnerable so that the hand of the Lord can work in our lives as He begins to disciple us. My dear brothers, it is possible that you have been raised to believe that we must hide our bad sides. And that's probably why togetherness or doing life in community or having people in our lives would seem challenging. However, I will differ and say that when there is proximity or when there are people in our lives that are being intentional in allowing the Holy Spirit to lead us in our day to day stuff, it is then when God does His best work. That's correct. When we allow for proximity, allow for people that are intentional about being led by the Holy Spirit in their everyday to day stuff, and when we allow those people to be in our lives, that's when God does His best work in us. My dear brothers and sisters, what I want to do is that I want to encourage you to allow the Spirit to lead you into community so that you can see and experience a flourishing life in our day to day stuff. See, allowing people that are like minded into our lives is an imperative concept that every missional community must live by. So allow yourself to let the good Lord continue to work in you. See you next week with another missional community concept. God bless.